Hello and welcome to Cook UK. Today we're going to show you how to cook a chorizo and king prawn paella. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cook the paella on a barbecue in this traditional paella pan here. This is a real paella pan. It's got little dimples on the bottom to transmit the heat. It's got a very shallow edge to it, and it's got the traditional handles here, and it's made out of the right material to conduct heat and lose heat very quickly. So that's the ideal thing, and it's also ideal to cook paella on a barbecue because you have a large area of heat with the coals rather than a small area of heat provided by the hob. So that's what we're going to do. But you can follow the same recipe, exactly the same recipe, using your hob at home and whatever pan you happen to have. Now the ideal pan without a paella dish would be something like this. This also has a wide base and it will transmit the heat very well from that hob almost evenly around the whole bottom surface area. So that's your second option. However, not many people have a pan like that. So here's your normal frying pan. This one happens to be quite a good quality one, but any frying pan will do. It's got a reasonably large base and it can be used to cook the paella exactly as we describe in this video and exactly as we describe on our website, which is www.cookuk.co.uk. So follow the instructions either on a barbecue in a paella pan or on the hob with a frying pan like this. So the next thing we're going to do is show you some preparation before we actually start cooking, because cooking a paella is can be quite complicated if you don't do the preparation beforehand. So there's three things we need to prepare for our chorizo and king prawn paella. The first is the chorizo, and we're simply going to slice the chorizo up into thin slices like that. The ingredients of the recipe and the amounts are at the end of this video, and they're also on www.cookuk.co.uk. But this is going to be 100 grams of chorizo here. So I'll cut the rest of those off the video in a few minutes. So that's what we do with 100 grams of chorizo. We chop it like that. Now this chorizo is just the standard Spanish chorizo. It's not the picant one, P-I-C-A-N-T-E, because that is quite a spicy one and it will flavour the paella not too good. So just your normal standard chorizo. So that's the chorizo down there. The next thing we need to do is to take our chicken, in this case we've got chicken breast, and we're simply going to chop that up into 4 pieces, each chicken breast, or 3 or 4 pieces, like that. And then that'll be ready for frying on the barbecue or on the hob. So the final thing is the saffron. I don't know whether you can see that. We put the saffron in a small frying pan here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put that on a medium heat, no oil, no nothing, just the saffron in a frying pan, a small frying pan, and leave it there for about 30 seconds. Now what that's going to do is it's going to crisp up the saffron just ever so slightly, and that will allow us to break it up into small pieces very easily. So we'll take the saffron off the heat there and just put it on a plate. So there's our saffron. Now you have to be careful how you do this. It's difficult to show you because unless I do it with my left hand, because now when you break the saffron it tends to jump about the place. You can break it up into small pieces like this, and it just makes it easier that when you put it in the paella, it spreads throughout the paella rather than staying in one or two places. So that's the preparation for our chorizo and king prawn paella. Okay, so on with the paella. What we're going to do is add 2.5 tablespoons of oil to the pan. We're then going to chuck our chicken pieces and chorizo onto it. Now you've got to keep this moving initially because the chicken pieces will stick to the base of the pan if you don't. Yeah, we should have allowed this to heat up a bit actually first, but no great harm will be done. We'll just lower that down a bit. Yep, done it. So what we've done is we've cut the chicken pieces into 4 and we've sliced the chorizo before we've added them. The chorizo, once it starts cooking, is going to add a lot of colour to this dish because it's got things like sweet paprika and other herbs and spices in it, and it will release a lot of colour and a lot of delicious flavour. Anyway, we're going to cook that for about 5 minutes until the chicken is browned, and then we'll come back to you. So you can see the chorizo started to cook down and give off this wonderful colour into the oil, and it's added some of its own oil as well, and the chicken is now fried off. So all we're going to do now is add our tomatoes and our garlic. The garlic's finely chopped, and the tomatoes is 400 grams in of chopped tomatoes. Spanish if you can get them. So we're just going to mix that in, and we'll let that cook off for about 15 minutes. So we'll get back to you in around 15 minutes time, and we'll add some more ingredients. So the chicken and tomatoes and chorizo have been cooking for around 10 minutes from the last time. So now we're going to add in the stock. Now a good rule of thumb is just don't fill it up too near the edge. Basically, we're going to add about, no, we've got that much left over from the 2 litres we said, so, or the 1 litre we said rather. So now we're going to add about a teaspoonful of sweet paprika. There's 2 types of paprika. There's the spicy one and there's this normal one. So this will just be labelled paprika or sweet paprika in the shops. So we're putting that in, and then we're going to cook that for another 10 minutes or so. Now remember, you can do this paella, in exactly the same way on your hob. Obviously you won't have a paella pan, but you can have a large pan and you can cook it exactly like this. It won't turn out as good, but it will turn out pretty good, I promise you. So we'll come back after this has been cooking for about 10 minutes. So now we're going to add the saffron, spread it around so that it's spread out as evenly as you can. try and get it all out of that glass. Then we're going to add about a level teaspoonful of dried rosemary. If you can get fresh rosemary, a long sprig will do fine. Now we're going to lower the heat, or increase the heat by lowering the barbecue onto the coals. And now we're going to add the paella rice. And we're going to spread that evenly around. There we are. And we're just going to ease all that rice down to the base of the pan. And try and get the liquid to start to boil as well. So gently try and ease the rice down so it's evenly spread over the base of the pan. That will enable it to cook evenly. If you have it all in one pile, it won't cook evenly. So that's looking really good there. So what we're going to do is, this will come to a boil in a minute. You can see it starting to bubble. We'll leave it cooking at a boil for about 10 minutes. Then we'll raise the grill up and let the mixture simmer for about another 8 minutes. Now from now on, we're not going to touch that paella. We're going to leave it and let the rice cook and form into a nice base on the bottom of the pan. So we'll come back to you in 15-18 minutes time when it's done. So we said previously that we'd let this paella cook on a boil for 15 to 20 minutes, or 15 to 18 minutes. In fact, we come back after 12 minutes, because what we've got to do now is add the peas. So just sprinkle them on evenly. They don't add a huge amount of flavour to the dish, but they sure add a nice bit of colour. And that's what paella is all about. And then we're going to add the jumbo prawns. Now, these are frozen, uncooked jumbo prawns. And it says on the pack, allow 6 minutes to cook. So that's about what we've got left of cooking time. Plus there'll be a bit extra because we're going to rest the paella for about 5 minutes after it's cooked. So the prawns should be just nicely done, but not overdone. So just settle them into the dish so that they are going to get well cooked. And it's probably a good idea halfway through the next 6 minutes to turn those over, just to ensure they're cooked on both sides. So we're going to leave that for another 6 minutes, and we're just going to raise the grill slightly so that it's not boiling quite so frantically. And we'll come back to you in 6 minutes time, and all that'll be left to do then is to rest the paella for 5 minutes, and after it's rested we'll garnish it with some lemons and eat it. Our paella has finished cooking on the barbecue now, so what we're going to do is take it off, cover it with silver foil or whatever you have. Don't use your mother's best tea towel, because all that paprika and stuff in it will definitely be very difficult to get out of a tea towel, but cover it with some silver foil is probably the best bet. and we're going to leave it there to just soak up that remaining liquid, and then we'll come back to you and show you the finished product. So there you have the finished paella. It's been resting for 5 minutes, and you can see it's absorbed the remainder of the liquid, so that we've got a dry rice dish, and we've just garnished it with some lemons. If you had any parsley or something like that, that would look good as well. So the only thing left to do is eat up and enjoy.